We're in Penang, Malaysia, and these three amigos are riding their bikes all around the world for almost a full year now. This is Clayton, he's from BC, Canada, and Sam and Elliott, they're from different places in the UK. And we're going to talk about some of their journey, why they decided to hit the road for so long. I mean, imagine living on a bike every single day, camping, oftentimes staying in hostels like where we met here in Penang. But every single day, get up, ride, next town, next spot. I think it's so interesting how you decided to leave, you know, the motivations for leaving, but having almost zero prior cycling experience. So Clayton did a 3-month trip through Europe, right?
Yeah, 6 years ago I did. Like
6 years ago. You, out of the three of y'all, that's the only like cycling experience really. So Sam and Elliott, tell me about getting your bikes, not riding at all, and then just hitting the road for an entire year.
I think we saw like a YouTube video of someone doing something similar, and then your whole YouTube then becomes like bikepacking videos. I pretty much saw these videos, felt inspired, and over time sort of got myself into a position where I was like, I might as well try that. I feel like trying that. Bought a bike 2 months before, and just left. On the
No practice.
No practice.
I was pretty much the exact same. I always wanted to travel. I was going to fly to Southeast Asia to begin with, and then to Australia. But then I was looking at ways on YouTube of how to like travel there instead of just flying, like alternative like forms of transport. So then I was YouTubing it, and I was camper vanning, motorbike tours, all that, and then it come up bikepacking. And instantly I was hooked. I was like obsessed with videos on YouTube, and then I thought, you know what, this is the way I'm going to do it. So I literally, no idea about bikes, don't really interest me. I just seen a bike from Halfords, bought a bike, bought all the stuff, left my bike in the house, used it once before.
Like a 20-kilometer ride, you said?
No, it was around 30 miles for us, so what's that?
Okay.
45, 50 kilometers, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
so half a day, almost a full day.
Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely killed me. Put my bike aside, and then when it comes to it, just packed all my stuff and left, and yeah, here we are.
Anybody who's a cyclist knows how wild that is to have a single day of practice before you ride your bike around the entire world for a year.
That's it.
Sam, can you tell me a little bit about some of the motivations for you to decide to take the trip to begin with?
So I attempted suicide in June 2021, and I was kind of just looking for a purpose in life, and then kind of hit me in my face when my mum got diagnosed with cancer, because then it was like, right, I need to stop messing about with all this partying, drugs. Well, I wasn't really partying, it was mainly just sitting at home playing World of Warcraft, doing drugs 24/7 by myself in my room. And
tell me about you racked up how much time of gameplay, you said?
I have over a year's worth of game time in a 3-year period. So like over a third of my life.
I thought you said that was just on your main character too.
I think so. I haven't gone through all of my characters, so it's probably more. So like over a third of my life through the last like 3 years before I left this tour, I was playing World of Warcraft. I was like 105 kg before I left as well. Really overweight. I'm now like 73, but I have a really bad hypochondriac thing, but for other people. So I really worry about other people's health. So I thought I was worried about my mum dying, and when she didn't, it was kind of like, oh, because the plan was if my mum went, I was going. So when my mum didn't go, it was like, oh, like I've got to sort of like figure out a plan now for my life, like to what to do now.
So she got better, and in a way that saved you too.
Yeah, for sure. Because I couldn't do it without my mum. I'm gonna need to have kids before my mum goes, otherwise. Otherwise, I'm going.
On your case.
Yeah, and then I had a conversation with my friend because I was getting like suicidal again, and he was like, "Oh, you like those YouTube videos of people bikepacking around the world? Why don't you have savings? Why don't you give that a shot?" And then bought a bike and left.
So tell me about the routes that you guys each individually took before you ended up meeting and then deciding to ride together.
I landed in Paris, and then I thought France was flat, but it was not. So like I was going down the coast, and it's all these seaside towns, so it's very high grade hills and like declines and inclines. And I went up to Norway and then Sweden, kind of cut down through Germany. The first day I took off was Berlin. Yeah, I went down to Prague, just kind of hit the capital cities and zigzagged down to Istanbul. Then I took 2 weeks off, kind of see the southern Mediterranean coast, and then recontinued.
Off your bike?
Off my bike.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom flew out actually.
Oh, nice.
So I visited her, and some friends were actually from Canada visiting there as well. And then went to Georgia, and then it was snowing on me in the mountains in Turkey, which I did not know over there either. And so I decided it was getting too late, so I couldn't go through Kazakhstan anymore. So I flew to India, I did southern India, flew from Chennai, India to Bangkok, and then did Laos, Vietnam, down along the coast to Cambodia, down to Ho Chi Minh City, then Cambodia, east coast of Thailand, back down to where we are now.
Sam and Elliott, you guys left UK, but not together. You didn't know each other at this point.
No, we
Yeah.
live in different parts of the country. I'm right down south, and he's in Kent near London. So he left a little bit before me. I see him on social media. So I was like, no way. What are the chances we're both doing the exact same thing a few months apart? So I give him a message, and we got speaking there. And then Sam was loving life. You were having a few stops here and there, weren't you? Just slowing things down a little bit. And then I left a couple of months later, and I was pretty direct through Europe. I didn't really hang around in many places. And then we ended up bumping into each other in Istanbul, Turkey.
Yeah, so you were describing that to me the other day, how Istanbul and Georgia and that region is kind of like a convergence point for cyclists that have gone all the way through Europe and that are heading east.
And vice versa, like different directions, going back in towards Europe and heading towards Asia. Like you do meet a lot of cyclists, and that's where we met Clayton as well, in the airport in Georgia. Yeah.
So y'all met in Istanbul.
Yeah.
You meet
I met
Clayton,
them in
Georgia.
in the airport, and then I met them again in Hanoi, and then again in Cebu.
Okay, so you've been like together for a bit, riding together, then apart, and then together and apart. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Clayton, you were telling me about your perfect start when you left France after eating all that cheese.
Oh yeah, so I bunged myself up with some baguettes of cheese and ended up myself on the first day after I ate a shawarma.
First day on the bike.
First day on the bike, yeah.
Amazing.
Blew up both my pant legs. That was the biggest shit I've ever taken in my life.
Jump in the river?
Yeah, I jumped in the river. I had to go to a car wash that was like a couple miles up the road and hose off my bike. And that was the start of the adventure.
Hose off the bike.
Oh man, not bad.
I've never heard that story before. That's wild.
Has there been some other moments like that, unexpected roadblocks or adventures, we can call them?
India.
India was full of them. I had one in Switzerland. I was going up the Alps, and as I was coming up the road, this side, climbing up, and it's very important to note that I'd run out of water at this point. So I was hoping to get over the mountain so that I could go to a supermarket and then get some water, get some food, because I was starving, ran out of food, ran out of water. So I was going up this mountain, and as I'm going up, a cyclist is coming down, and the motorcyclist has crashed into the back of this cyclist going down the hill at a very fast speed. So the guy's like face planted, his sunglasses has gone through his eye, and he's like unconscious for a bit. So I'm here calling 999 to call in an ambulance for him. A helicopter flies in, and then of course I was the only witness, so I had to wait for like a police interrogation. So then I was there for like 2 or 3 hours. This whole time not had any water, not had any food. And then I had to, in the dark after what I'd just seen, bear in mind I'd only been cycling for like a month by this point. I just seen a motorcyclist crash into the back of this cyclist down the Alps, and his face will get mushed up on the floor. And
Did that give you some doubts and like freak you out, thinking like this is a potential hazard?
Yeah. I was on the phone to like my girlfriend at the time, going like, oh my god, like literally like in tears, because I was like, I'm actually scared now. Every single time a vehicle comes from behind me, I'm scared they're just gonna run through the back of me.
It's quite scary stuff, to be fair. In Nepal, you'll remember these. We were up in the mountains in Nepal, and I was just cruising along. Like, luckily, this guy seen me coming. I didn't even realise it, and he was in the middle of the road, like stop. And I don't know what's going on. And as I stopped, I looked up, and there was the rock fall, and there was rocks like just flying down the mountain, hitting the road. I didn't even notice it. Luckily, the guy stopped me, else I would have just went straight into it. And that we were there for like what, 10-15 minutes. And then the other one was the elephants in Nepal. That was awesome. We were literally just cycling down this road, and was it the army, the police?
No, that was Thailand.
Oh yeah, it was
That
Thailand.
was Thailand.
Oh yeah, shit, Thailand. Sorry. What was the other one in Nepal?
That was
the
the tiger.
The tiger reserve. Yeah.
You saw a tiger?
No, we were looking for it, but yeah, we were cycling through this national park, and these police, the army, stopped us and was just like, there's a 300-kilogram tiger roaming about around here. You can't cycle through this place whatsoever. So they got us in the back of the trucks and took us through the nature reserve. We've seen elephants, we've seen crocodiles, seen some deers.
The cheapest
like
safari ever.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, the one in Thailand, we were cycling down the road, and the police stopped us. They kind of pulled in and was just like, no, there's 2 elephants going crazy up there, and you need to get in the trucks. And when we did, we just seen these 2 elephants like rubbing up the side of this lorry trying to grab stuff out. There was all crap all over the road, and we got to see two wild elephants running about the place. That was recently in Thailand. That was pretty cool.
So tell me about leaving UK, leaving Europe at the beginning. How long until you felt really comfortable on the bikes with zero prior cycling experience and just jumping into it head first? If anyone's watching this thinking, oh, I've never ridden a bike, I can't ride my bike around the world, you know, but you get used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
right?
so I think it's just a case of you kind of break yourself into it. Like, it's like if you can make it past that like 2 week / like maybe there's a 2 week period, I say, where it's like you're tired, you're unfit, it's a really hard time, and you're smelly, and you're, especially in Europe where you can't afford a hostel or a hotel every
or good
night
restaurants
because you're not showering as well, and you're not eating properly, and so it's the first 2 weeks are really hard, and then there's like a period at like the 2 month period if you're on a really long tour, I find that you really start getting homesick. There's like, I call it the 2 month period. But once you're through that, I think you're kind of broken. You're kind of broken into the routine of just getting up and cycling every day.
And you've just got to be really comfortable with smelling, being dirty, not knowing where you're going to sleep, and just being confident in where you find a place to stay, especially camping through Europe, like you were saying. Like, there's so many places because you don't know these places where you're at, so you've really got to kind of be a bit switched on of where you're going to sleep for the night, because you know there's time, like you've had times where you've been moved on in the middle of the night and stuff, haven't you? So you've just got to be aware of that, but just have confidence going into it. Like we said, we had no idea about bike packing or anything like that, but you just get stuck in, keep telling yourself that you know you can do it, everything's good, and you find a rhythm for it, and it's a routine, and then it literally just comes a part of your life. And it's like when I first started, that was the only kind of part where I was like, oh, do I camp here, do I camp there, you know? But now I will literally throw up a tent anywhere now.
There's a trick for the camping too. If you like, this old man taught me, it was like my first tour, but he'd gone around the world like 3 times, I guess, his old geezer, and he said like if you look for a camping spot the last half hour of cycling, like before dusk, you'll always find it. And it's true, like if you start keeping your eye open for like a side of a river, or like just an opening, like a nice place to camp, it always pops up.
A clearing in the bush.
Yeah. You got like in a half hour, you got 10 kilometers to be looking for a campsite. I mean, you could also look at Google Maps and kind of find a lake or something like that, but yeah, it usually always works. Oh yeah, so in Romania, at the border, everybody's like, watch out for the gypsies, and it was a big joke. And I was always told throughout Europe, like, watch out for gypsies because they're like the boogeyman of Europe. And I was going into Romania, and the first night I crossed the border, and I made it to I was just off the side of the highway, and there was a bush in a field, so I went behind the bush and set up my camp, and nobody saw me. I thought, but it's like it's a small community, so everybody's connected there. So I think somebody saw me driving by on the highway and was like, "Hey, there's a guy camping on your yard." So this guy came at me at midnight and just rode up his truck, and I kind of heard the engine, and I was like, "Oh, gypsies," and then like he just flashed, turned on his high beams, and like laid on the horn. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I'm just in my underwear. I was thinking about grabbing the knife that I usually have, and I was like, "Nah, I'll just get out." And yeah, it was a farmer, and he had a shotgun, and he's like, "No gypsy, no gypsy, no gypsy." He's like, "Oh shit, sorry." He put his gun away.
He was apologizing.
Yeah, he was super apologetic because he thought I was a gypsy, so he was just gonna blow me away. But it says, I thought that everybody was gypsies there, but it turns out there's the Romanians, the Roma people, and then there's the gypsies. And the gypsies are actually all rich, usually there, but they're like just gangsters.
Yeah, you said they had like some gold fences in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they'll have the big off mansion in the middle of the town, and everybody else is like, farmhouses and stuff, and then there'll be this massive like 3-story like Louis Vuitton gold fences surrounding it, and like those are the gypsies because they're into the drug dealing and stuff like that. And I always thought what I stereotyped gypsies was like a caravan that like roll town to town stealing people's children and souls, but I was way off.
We need Clayton, everybody. That must have been scary though, waking up just seeing a shotgun in your face.
Yeah. While he was in the truck, like I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I was just like, shit.
You've had a few.
I've had a couple, yeah.
Haven't you?
I got robbed, and if you think of my route through Europe, it's probably the country that you like least expect it to be as well. So I got robbed in Switzerland. Yeah, I got robbed in Switzerland, and then I got assaulted in Montenegro by an old man because it got to midnight, and it was one of the only times that I was really struggling to find somewhere to sleep. So I saw this beach, I saw all the sun loungers, and I was like, it's 12 o'clock, it's midnight, surely nobody's watching these sun loungers. And plus there were these like group of teenagers that were like on the next row. So I was like, fine, I'll go and camp up and sleep on this sun lounger. It looks pretty comfy. It was all padded as well, so I laid down, and like as I'm like drifting away, I just sort of feel this presence like looming over me. And pretty much, long story short, I tried to profusely apologise to this guy, but as I was rolling my bike away through the sand, he tried to sucker punch me from behind. I ended up, because I was holding this heavy bike in sand, trying to keep it up anyway and push it through sand, I ended up seeing he was coming and falling over. He's ended up falling over me, and then we've ended up having this weird sort of like scuffle on the beach on the floor, with these like teenagers just sitting there absolutely cracking up watching us laughing. There might be a video of it somewhere. But yeah, that was a time where I tried to sleep somewhere that I shouldn't have been sleeping, and bit me in the arse. But
yeah, unbelievable.
You've not really had any like.
I haven't. Like the one time that I felt the most uncomfortable camping was when we were in the mountains in Turkey. We pitched our tents up, we were chilling. Bearing in mind, Sam sleeps in a bivvy, so he's not even in a tent. He's just like, we say he's the human sausage roll, don't we? It's just like
sweaty sausage roll. Yeah.
But we were in the tent, and we thought at first it was wolves. So we were there, like just chilling, and we heard these noises, and I was freaking out. I was like, shit, we're surrounded, because it was wolf territory, weren't it? Wolf and bear territory.
Wolf and bear territory.
So we were like, oh no, there's wolves surrounding us. They were literally around the corner, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were going at it. I've got the video on my phone as well, like the noises, and we were like, shit. I was like, Sam, get in the tent. He was like, whoa, whoa, trying to scare these like wolves away. But yeah, we found out from one of your friends.
Wildlife like content creator, expert.
That it was wild jackals, so it was like a pack of wild jackals. So we were like, thank God for that. But that was the only time where I was just like, oh no, we're gonna get
I
attacked.
find the wild dogs, they sound like screaming babies too. That's
Yeah, a little bit, but
they
it
sound
was-
like babies crying in the forest at night, like just the wild packs of dogs. It's unsettling.
Uh-huh.
You just kind of hear this. Yeah, I think they're just trying to mimic a baby crying, so it's something weak, and then like it allows something that's gonna hunt that, and then they ambush them. Or I don't know what their reason for it is, but yeah, it sounds like babies crying.
A lot of people have this great fear that traveling around the world is super dangerous, and you guys are on your bicycles every day, going across entire continents, and like you said, you get robbed in
People are
Switzerland.
So nice.
Yeah.
Like every kind, especially when you're not in cities and you're not around tourist hotspots. There's not the snakes don't go there. The snakes go where all the tourists are. So like when you're in the countryside, the people are just so accommodating. And if you ask somebody, they let you sleep on their property, like no problem, feed you. Like people are very like my experience. Even the countries that you don't like India or like I didn't mind India, but it's dirty. But people are a bit backwards.
But then even in India,
But they're so nice though. They're very curious and like they see like. It's not like you're driving a car or a motorbike. They see you on a bicycle and they want to help you because they see that it's difficult.
Human-powered machine.
Yeah, it's difficult. And they see you as a tourist. It's like a beacon of being like a shining light of tourism, or a pilgrim. Especially the Muslims in Turkey. Like I was very blown away by their hospitality. Like it's kind of in Islam, right? It's a religion to help pilgrims. So if you're on a bicycle, it's just like they know they're like, oh shit. And like one day I got 5 gift baskets from like people out there. I don't have any space to put coffee or bottles of water on my bike anymore. It's just like extra hump. Because people would just pull over on the side of the road and like grab anything they had in their car and like give it to you. Like, oh, take this, and offer their house like in the down the road.
Yeah, I tried to pick up Clayton's bike and I physically could not lift it myself.
60 kilos. There's a bunch of rocks in it. I collect rocks.
Brilliant. Did that help you in the hills in India?
No. No. Everything's pretty dumb.
Tell me about when you were drinking, what did you say, like 15 liters a day and not taking a single piss?
Yeah, it was the humidity was so hot along the coast from Mumbai down to Goa that and the inclines there wasn't very much breeze or anything like that. And, it's just so hot in the humidity that I was drinking like 14 liters of water a day, and I'd piss at the end of the day and it'd be brown. I was like, I just soaked, completely soaked. And luckily I had met another guy because I was kind of questioning what I was doing there, and I met this other guy that was kind of an amateur / professional cyclist. Like he had done a lot, and he was dying as well, and he kind of found me when my bike just broke, and I was at night. I'd run out of
Is that when you busted your pedal?
Yeah, my pedal, somebody cross-threaded it. I started, he was helping me, but he cross-threaded the threading in one of my pedals, and I didn't realize, and just with all the bumps in India, it just slowly got loose, and then just snapped out, and filed all the threading away, and I had, the pedal just essentially fell out, and I was, in the middle of the bush, and the monkeys were going nuts. And I was like, man, this sucks. And I my cell phone wasn't working, and I had not realized that I just ran out of money because you take out I don't know how many rupees, but you have this massive amount, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm good forever. And then it runs out. And then everything happened at once.
So this is the guy that had to float you some...
Yeah, he floated me for 3 days
Yeah.
as we cycled together and suffered together. So one of the guest houses we stayed at, the couple was asked us how many kilometers we were doing. We're 85, and which it wasn't. We didn't think that was a lot, but they were saying everybody only does 50 max in these areas because it's just
Yeah, the hills.
so hilly, just nonstop, and just shitty roads. And we're like, oh, okay, maybe we are doing not too bad then. But
So besides the obvious challenges of hills and heat, and we talked about camping, what are some other challenges, maybe more mental challenges to motivate yourself to keep going and things like this?
The end goal, really. The end goal for me.
Yeah.
I said it, telling everyone back home, your friends and family, that you're gonna do this, and I'm quite driven anyway. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I did put a lot of pressure on myself with such a big trip with no experience, but that's it for me. Waking up every morning. Sometimes as well, you do a really long day. and there's nothing in between the cities you go into, so you got to get there really. So it's like you wake up in the morning after like 150 kilometers cycling the day before, and you're like, oh, I've got to do it again, knowing like your next break is in the city like 3 or 4 days away. Like you can't just chill in one place in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing going on. So for the mental one for me is getting up in the mornings after a long day, knowing you've got to do it all again.
Do you think that playing football for your whole life, like being an athlete, has helped you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like physically, like conditioning my body to do a lot of exercise. I found that the trip has been quite, I wouldn't say easy, but it's been okay. It's not affected me massively. It's been more, to be fair, it's more getting to the end of the trip now. Like on my last leg, knowing that I'm almost at Australia. Physically I'm fine, but it's like mentally it's like, right, my body's ready to chill because it's almost at the end. So getting up in the mornings, when we say we're going to do 100 plus kilometers, it's like, because I'm almost at the end goal, so my body's like, slow down now, it's time to chill, but you've got to keep pushing. But you just tell yourself, you've set yourself a goal. I've chosen to do this, so I can't really complain. I'm just going to get my head down and get on with it and enjoy the rewards and the end goal when I get there. So for me, it was the Annapurna Circuit. We weren't going to do it to begin with, and then it was your idea, which is crazy because if you know Sam, he doesn't like hills. He doesn't like this, that. You're a lot better with him now, but he doesn't like any kind of hills, this, that, and the other. So as we were going into Nepal from India, he mentioned it, and I was like, okay. So it was a bit of a side quest, and. For us, like as I was saying before, I've always wanted to like challenge myself mentally and physically, and I knew getting this far already, then to go and climb this mountain where people usually hike it. There's, people do take their bikes up very rarely. So for that, it was a challenge on its own, and being able to. We spent 10 days pretty much hiking up this mountain, but we cycled for the first few days, and then it was carrying our bikes, pushing them, screaming, stressed because of how hard it was, but getting to the top of the Annapurna Circuit, which was 5,400 metres high, higher than Everest Base Camp, with your bikes and everything, that was the highlight of my trip for sure. Yeah. Being at the top of that mountain, minus 22 degrees of the night time, it was freezing, sleeping in like little wooden cabins and tea houses.
You had your bikes with you the entire time?
Yeah, it was one of the most unreal experiences of my life for sure. Being up in the mountain, seeing the snow caps, and just knowing that we've took our bikes up and we're holding our bikes up in the air at that altitude. No tour guide, no experience, no help. We just absolutely sent it as a side quest, and this is already over halfway through our trip.
Yeah, you're not covering much distance doing that. You're just climbing a mountain.
Yeah, that's it. And getting to the top of that was probably the most unreal experience for me, knowing that I've accomplished that. And then coming back down the mountain and carrying on cycling every day on the way to Australia, that was definitely the highlight for me, for sure.
Amazing.
For sure. And some of the photos and everything up there was just out of this world. Incredible. That was mine.
I'll give another one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed what was a highlight for me. When you asked that question, the first thing that came into my head was when we arrived in India the first night, and it so happened to be the main night of Diwali.
Yeah.
And so, which is like their biggest celebration there. It's their biggest celebration in India. I think Elliott was looking for a vape, so we were walking around the back streets of New Delhi, like these dodgy back streets. And there was like, the streets were all lit up with LEDs, like the buildings are like decrepit, but like the streets are beautifully decorated at the same time because it's Diwali with all these vibrant colours and stuff. And then you had like kids in the street, like they had these gunpowder things, and there were like these like 6-year-old kids filling the bottom of this like metal pipe up with gunpowder, pure gunpowder, tapping it on the floor a few times, and then it had this thing where you pull it out and then you go like that. So you kind of pull out this metal bar from the pipe and slam it down, and it was like you'd been flashbanged in Call of Duty. It would literally, but it would make a big boom noise, and then like it would, of course, like fire off.
Because we both had it though, didn't we? And it literally
had your senses.
Our ears were ringing, and the flash was just like, we were so like out of it, and these little 6-year-olds doing it all night long.
But
Banging away, and we were like, whoa.
when you said euphoria, I think arriving in New Delhi for me, like I don't know whether, do you remember I had that kind of like energy burst at that time?
Yeah.
Because I was just like,
The adrenaline was going. It was a whole new world to us as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Is this the first time as you were pulling to a big city in India? Like the first big city in India?
So that's how we met. Clayton was we flew from Georgia to India, again to avoid my initial plan was to go through Russia. They made it illegal to do with transit, to do a transit visa with bicycle like a couple of weeks before I got to Georgia. So I was like, well, I can't do that anymore. So instead of flying to Kazakhstan where it'd be cold, freezing in a desert, we were like, we'll fly to India because it's better weather. I wasn't going to do India and I wasn't going to do Nepal, and I'm so glad I did, because not only has it like changed my perspective on life, they're also two of my favourite countries. India one of my favourite but one of my least favourite at the same time, but Nepal is probably my favourite country next to like Turkey.
So what was it about that? Where do you think that feeling came from you were describing?
I think culture shock. I think it was like culture shock, but I was just so. Bear in mind that I'd been through at this point, probably about like 18 countries, and I had a little bit of culture shock in Albania. That was the first country that I had culture shock in, and then I didn't really have that big of a culture shock in Turkey. Like, it was different, but I wasn't like, whoa.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't like, whoa, this is out of this world. But India was the first country that I rocked up to, and I was just like, this isn't even in the same dimension as me.
For sure.
This is like
overload every corner.
this is like a different planet.
I think if you ever want to get humbled and you think your life is bad and everything is not working out for you, go to India. You will have the biggest shock of your life. You have nothing to worry about ever in your life. Like, no matter how hard you think your life is, go to India,
Rent a car and go see the villages.
Go to the rural areas, and you'll realise how lucky you are to be breathing the air you are in your, where you live.
Just
you've got a roof over your head. You can. It's an eye opener for sure, and that's something that that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. India.
I've heard India described as an assault, a daily assault on your senses.
By the end of the day, you are fried. You are literally like, what has just gone on? Especially going through when we did, because the pollution was at its highest. The heat, just the uncleanliness, the height, just everything, as well as the colours, the noises.
But you never get sick from the food, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I dropped 15 pounds while I was there. I had to watch my water intake, or else I'd shit my pants on my bike again, which I said I would not do again. After day one, I was like, that. I'm never shitting my pants again.
So you shit your pants in France, but not in India.
I fucking made it. But I was like really watching the water, so I was just sweating, and like it took everything I had in me to do 100 kilometers in those days, because I was just like, it felt like I had cancer pretty much by the end. I was just like so weak, because I couldn't. You can't eat the curries. It's not because it's spicy. It's because of the spices, because they don't measure out anything there. It's not like a tablespoon of like masala. They pour half a bag into it, and it's just like gritty with spice, so our stomachs just can't handle it. And it's just like, after, I think I made it 3 days, and I was just like, I smell curry in my stomach. They start growling at me, like, don't eat it. And I'm like, I was sick about that. I think it was Vietnam, when I had that like intense tailwind. I was going like, massage? No, it was, I had this wicked tailwind for like 2 days, and I was doing like over 200 kilometers a day, and it was like, it felt like once you get up to the max speed, it was like, I was going like over 40 kilometers an hour just down the coast, and it was just like, such a beautiful coastline. You're going up these like hills and like seeing all these huge like Buddhist statues, and it was just like pristine beaches. Like, the beaches there are phenomenal, and it was like a dreamscape almost. And like when you're doing that many kilometers a day, you hit this ecstasy high at the end too. So it's like, depends how hard you push yourself. But yeah, that's my favorite part of the cycling actually, as well as yeah, you hit like a runner's high from cycling, and it's just like your thoughts are clear. Your body feels like it's tingling the whole time. You know, it's a great feeling. But you get hours of that. Tailwind, oh man, tailwind's the best thing about cycling.
How did you use tailwind?
Built like a box, the tailwind is it's like a sail almost.
Especially on that thing.
Yeah.
Clayton, Sam, Elliott, these guys are all posting on their Instagram and TikToks and such. I'll post some links. Check them out, follow them, give them a few bucks, help them get them around the world. See you in the next one.
Goodbye.
I gotta have the three amigos shot.
Always wear a helmet.
Good night, buddy.